Alright, welcome to the hands-on review of the Samsung Rant, also known as the M540, offered on the Sprint network. As you can see right now, it's a traditional candy bar style phone with a lot of the traditional features on the front, where we'll kind of start off everything. We have our keypad, which offers a nice difference from the other phones in that these keys are raised, allowing us easier access for either text messaging or dialing the numbers. It's a lot easier to feel the differences without having to get confused or hitting the wrong buttons. Above that, we have our call and end button, and then left and right soft keys. Through the center row here, we have dedicated buttons in the Chrome. We have our dedicated speakerphone, dedicated back button, and our menu or OK button. Around the menu button, we have a 4-directional D-pad, allowing easier access through the Sprint navigation menu. Flipping the phone over to the left-hand side, we can see that we have, again, the Chrome dedicated buttons for volume. And then underneath this flap, we have the 2.5mm headphone headset port. Little disappointing in that it's only the 2.5mm phone-specific port, not the 3.5mm standard headphone jack for the music features and other options that this phone has. Flipping over to the right-hand side, again, we can see another one of the Chrome buttons dedicated for the camera. On the top, we have the micro USB data charging port. As we look towards the back of the phone, we can see that we have the camera, which is a very well done 2.0 megapixel camera and self-portrait mirror, as well as the access for the speakerphone. The speakerphone on the Samsung Rant is about average quality, but slightly louder than most of the other phones that we've used. Great for using this phone during conference calls or listening to music while you're out and about. As we push this top button down, we can release the back of the phone, revealing the battery. This is a Samsung battery that's a 960 milliamp hour battery, rated at 5.6 hours of talk time and 10 hours of standby time. Rotating back again to the left side of the phone where the volume buttons are, we have our micro SD card slot. This slot is conveniently placed for being able to hot swap while the phone is still running and be able to swap out with different pictures, videos, etc. Right now, the Samsung Rant can take up to a 16 gig card, allowing more than enough room for just about anything that you'd want to do. As we put this back cover back on, we can rotate back to the front of the screen where we can see the auto lock feature of the phone. Great for the guys that like to throw their phone in their pocket, or the women that just throw their phones in the purse. If the screen on the phone goes off, it automatically goes into a locking feature that allows us to match the keypad without unlocking until we hit the asterisk and back, allowing us access to the Sprint menu. As we can see, we have this carousel style on the bottom of the Sprint one-click that we'll come back to in a little bit. The biggest feature on this phone is going to be the slide-out keyboard. As we push the top of the phone to the right, we expose the 4-line QWERTY keyboard that the Rant is going to be famous for. This keyboard offers a nice feedback to our texting, as well as the audible clicking sound, so we can essentially hear ourselves typing like we would on an old-fashioned typewriter. On the bottom, we have a dedicated directional pad, similar to the layout that you have on a computer. The only drawback to this keyboard is that they don't have dedicated numbers. So if you're going to be entering a new phone number to text message to, you either have to hold down the function button or press it each time as you go between the numbers. Looking at the screen itself, it is a 176 by 220 LCD screen, slightly lower quality than we've seen in other phones, which is probably the biggest disappointment in this phone. We would have liked to have seen a higher resolution screen. We can see on the bottom that we have Sprint's one-click operating system, which allows us to flip through the carousel to use some of the most used features like navigation. We can put directly in where we want to drive to, search, and more. We have an option down here for Google, where we can search Google for whatever, check our Gmail accounts, YouTube, etc. All in all, this phone has been a really nice phone, really convenient, and a lot of features on it. So enjoy.